tell me a little bit about the history of the building and the
Well,
studio.
welcome to Kaufman Astoria Studios. The building you're in opened up in 1920. It was opened up by famous players Lasky, which was Adolf Zucker and José Lasky. And they built this facility because they wanted to be able to capture the best acting talent in the world. Best acting talent in the world was theater talent. Best theater talent was Broadway and vaudeville right here in New York.
Right.
So they built this facility here in Queens. And we have actually a interview that he did in 1920 as to why he did this, and the answer is very similar to what we say now. You know, it was its location, it was the ability to build something of this magnitude here, and people got to remember it was easier to get here.
Yes, right.
When they built this, which will be 100 years next year.
Oh, who's that? Is this your adopted son?
Yes, it is my adopted son. So 100 years is in 2020.
Right, right.
The George Washington Bridge didn't exist, and where people were shooting was in Fort Lee. So you had to get on a ferry to get to where it was. So to do this, the 59th Street or the Queensboro Bridge was built, and so this was much easier transportation for production people to come out here and get them back in time. Because so once talkies came in, they were dealing with, convince the Marx Brothers, who were Broadway stars, to come and do Animal Crackers and Coconuts here. They would do it on film during the day and get them back for curtain call at night.
Is that right?
By the time the 30s hit, Zucker goes to LA to run Paramount from LA, and the Marx Brothers and others like him realized that Fame and Fortune was a lot easier on film than making 8 curtain calls a week.
That's right.
So off they went to LA to do more film. So this place stayed operating in the 30s as independent, similar to the way we operate it now. And in 1940, it became the Army Pictorial Center. So,
Wow. So what did they do here then?
This was the Army Signal Corps took it over, and this became a top secret base. And every moving image that was seen by the armed forces was either done here or controlled out of here.
Wow.
So the building you came in the main lobby, that was a back lot for the original studio, and the Army turned it into 3 wood barracks. And that's all they had. So the folks that were stationed here were known as subway commandos.
Wow.
So there's great stories that go on about how guys got quote unquote volunteered to be here, and it turned out that was because they were in subway distance of the studio. And they rotated them out like they do medical residents because there was not enough room to house them all. By the time the Korean conflict came, they had built a U-shaped barracks where the Frank Sinatra School is.
Oh, wow.
And they held on to this till 1970, the Army did. And in 1970, they went to Mayor Abe Beame and said, we're out of here. We're going to do it differently. We're going to not utilize the facility. You can have it under a use agreement. 1970, the city's going bankrupt, so they don't know what to do with it. They handed it to LaGuardia College. And LaGuardia College, whose budget was cut, used it like their version of Home Depot. So when their maintenance team needed ductwork or generator or electrical devices, they went ahead and came here, took it, and brought it to deal with getting LaGuardia College up and running, which is what they needed to do.
Wow.
So this became vandalized and vacant, and the only way I can give you a comparison is if you think about how what happens to a small town in the Midwest that's a manufacturing town, and the manufacturer goes out of business. What happens to the small town?
Yeah, they go broke. They go belly up.
So for this pocket of Astoria, that's what happened. The Army was employing thousands of people, spending their money all in this community, and suddenly they leave. So now the buildings are left vacant and empty, and they became vandalized, and people were sleeping in the buildings. And so you've got a disconnect between the studio and the community because parents didn't allow their kids to come south of Broadway, and to a kid, nothing good happened. Nothing but good things and fun things happen in an abandoned building. To a parent, only bad things happen. So it sat that way until '77 when Not-for-Profit Foundation formed and convinced Sidney Lumet to do The Wiz here. And that led to Hair and All That Jazz and Endless Love. And a whole slew of movies, but the city realized that the foundation couldn't afford to renovate and expand it. In 1979, they put out an RFP, and George Kaufman won the right to develop this facility. And we came in 1980 officially, and then officially took it over in '82.
Wow.
So, and we renovated the existing, expanded it, and then used it as an anchor to rejuvenate the neighborhood that had been so decimated by the departure of the Army.
Right. I remember
So that's a
Manhattan. yeah.
long-winded history. You
No,
edit it
it's
all you want.
No, that's
okay?
great. That's excellent. No,
know?
that's really good.
So that's what this is about, and it's become a home to major feature films and television shows since we got here.
Yeah. And when did you create George's? This used to be the Astor Room, right?
Well, before that, this was, if you look, actually if you look behind the curtain over there, you'll see a picture of Rudolph Valentino eating here with his wife when he was doing a movie in 1929.
Oh, wow.
Might be even 24, we have to check. But and from that picture, we saw the tile work. When I got here, this had been used as the Army Officer Club. So the bar was on the other side, and everything here was sheetrock.
Wow.
So we saw the picture, and we said, wonder if, and sure enough, the Army had taken black mastic on sheetrock and covered up all the beautiful tile that you see in the room.
Yeah, the tile is a beautiful room.
We used it as a commissary. We continued that tradition. This was an area that again had been weather devastated by the economic loss of the Army leaving, and so the ability to go get a tuna sandwich or a hamburger or a meal was limited. So it was important for us to start the commissary up so productions that were working here could kind of come downstairs, run through the commissary, eat, and go back.
Convenience.
I'd say a little over 5 years ago, we realized that it was an opportunity to open it up to the public, give the public the opportunity to come in and see it. So we opened it up as the Astor Room, and we were doing some renovation in the beginning of 18. And unfortunately, George Kaufman passed away in February. The renovation hadn't been completed yet, so before the renovation was completed, we decided to change the name of George's in honor of him.
Right. And now this will be the last night.
Yes, this is the last weekend of George's. We call it the Last Supper, it's everything has its time.
Right.
And I think for us, this has been a labor of love for all of us that have been a part of it. We created a restaurant that is everything that my wife and I want to go to.
Yes.
It's a beautiful place, nice big bar, food is good. John, our manager,
Great guy.
Fufi, he brings in a tremendous amount of personality. So you could, as we like to say, kibitz with him at the table.
Yes.
And there's wonderful music. But there has been all sorts of musicians that have come through here, and Richard Barana brought a different sensibility to it. He's a friend for an awful lot of years, and we knew his love of music, and he wanted to be a part of this. And he's brought some of the greatest jazz musicians in the world that come play here, and brought another sensibility to it. So I will always appreciate that, and I think what he's done here and brought that kind of quality of music here made George's a very special place between what he's done and the other musicians here who had a variety of ability to do it. And we've done it in a way in which you can the other musicians come in and they know you can listen to the music or you can talk to your friend.
Right.
And I think it gives this place a real great versatility that it has had. But like I said, everything runs its time, and when Fufi came to me and said, it's time.
It's too bad.
It's time.
Yeah.
It's hard to create a destination restaurant.
I know. And make money and make it profitable, even pay for itself, right?
I don't even think that really becomes the issue as a whole. I think you want it to be, you certainly would like a wonderful success out of it, but what you want is you want at least the popularity to be there so you get a consistency of customer that comes with it. This community is still growing. It's growing organically. We see it as what's happened down the different avenues as you go through here. We might have been a few years too early in our thought process that it was ready to be open for the public. The Museum of the Moving Image is still growing in its popularity. People visiting there, which is part of this Kaufman campus. We are the only arts district in Queens. We're the Kaufman Arts District, and that part of it is growing as well. So I think this avenue is going to continue to grow organically, and we're hopeful that the folks coming in here will be able to bring a different success, a different flavor to it. I'm very proud and happy that they're coming here. Their family has had a restaurant in Astoria since 1985,
Yeah.
and so there's a very consistent clientele coming to them. Unfortunately, the property they've been in is being developed for something else, and that's a good thing, the development, not
Right.
for them, but a good thing.
Right.
But it's good because that development will bring them more customers to here when they come here.
That's correct.
So we talk about issues like people think the word gentrification is a terrible word. Well, if we didn't do that, this area would still I'd still be going into where the Museum of the Moving Images and pulling out mattresses.
Yeah.
Okay, and if sanitation
You're
would
right.
come, it'd be coming back in. So I think in the right hand, development is a very positive thing, and that's what we've done here, bringing in the movie theater, bringing in the museum, bringing in the Frank Sinatra School, bringing in George's. Even for the time frame that it's here, it brought both entertainment, cultural feel to what is possible here, and people will grow from what we did and take it even further.
Certainly.
And that's okay.
Plus the history of the place.
Well, the history of the place is always going to be there, and we're always adding to it. I was saying almost before Hamilton, I hope history is proud of us, and that's what we work towards. Because having a history of Rudolph Valentino and Gloria Swanson and the Marx Brothers and W.C. Fields, and all these unbelievable historic films that were done here, and other television projects. You want to make sure what you're doing, that everyone's kind of proud to be here, want to be here, have a sense of this industry, whether it be music, whether it be film. As I told you earlier, we're talking about the sound studio. Our sound studio is one of the best in the world. We ended that with Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga doing their duet album down there, and that's
I think it's a great way to go out. Absolutely.
That's pretty cool. So that's the story, and we're thrilled that everybody's here. We're thrilled that Richard is doing, what is this, number 81 tonight, Richard?
Say what?
Night 81?
Probably close to it, yeah.
Okay, so
It could be 81.
night 81.
81.
David.
And I want you to know, when he started, he was a lot taller on night number 1.
And heavier.
Let's hear it for Dave Kokoski on piano. Dave Kokoski on piano. Yoshiwaki on bass. Yoshiwaki on bass. Vincent Herring on outdoor saxophone. Eric Alexander on tenor saxophone. And Paul Rossman on percussion. We're going to play a tune called Blues Up and Down. And there's a tune that Eric and Vincent has on one of their Live at Smoke records. Hope you enjoy it.
What key is this one in? That doesn't.
Thank you.